What's up, everyone? Here we are again, another video. This time it's going to be on popping corks, right? So obviously they're here for reasons. Let's just jump right into it. So I was talking to somebody the other day and they asked me a question about popping corks and how come in my videos or pictures they notice that I have different setups. One guy said that he said that he was looking at my video and he noticed that I was catching a fish on one popping cork, but in the background he saw another one on my rod and reel. I was like, that was crazy. There were two brothers. One of them's name's Gilbert. I don't remember the name of the other guy, so I apologize if you're looking at this video. Sorry about that. They said they like to go around and screenshot things so they can try to purchase the same things. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great, man. I think that's how you find out what gear works for you, by trying these things out and seeing if they apply to how you're going to fish, right? So let me answer the questions first off. He asked, he goes, is there any reason why I use them? Yes, there is. Colors really don't matter to me, but sounds and weight do, right? So, like, these are my three top popping corks, right? If I had to put them in 1, 2, and 3 position in order, which I hate doing because I know someone's gonna be out there thinking why, or whatever, so don't bite my head off, right? This is user preference, right? This is all for me. Maybe it'll apply to you, so that's what the whole point of the video is. So for me, my number 1 would probably be the boat monkey, all right? Number 2 would probably be the paradise popper, and number 3 would probably be the mid-coast popper. Now I'll go into why, right? I'm not just gonna throw it out there and not leave an answer as to why that is for me. So I love the boat monkey, right? The boat monkey float right here, because I like the fact that it has a little bit of good weight on it. So it's good when you're casting this out into the wind, right? So if you got the wind in your face that day and it's kind of blowing pretty strong, this popping cork is going to have enough weight to get you to where you need to get when fishing a windy day, all right? Let's be real, when it's windy, sometimes when you're in the marsh, a lot of times you need to put this popping cork right on that grass line. I mean, how many times we've been back fishing in the marsh and you hear this just blowing up and the reds are all the way back in the marsh line because the water's up high, it's been raining maybe for a week, whatever, and the water's up high, so the reds are back in the marsh, feeding inside the marsh, right? We need to get a popping cork right on that marsh line, pop that cork and get them out to draw them out to where we need them to strike at our popping cork, right? Obviously, we can't get back in those grassy marsh areas, but all right, you can get the popping cork right on the base of that and bring them out, right? I've done it plenty of times. A lot of fishermen I fish would do it, but you got to have the right gear to get there. On a windy day, if you're trying to throw a cork with no weight, it's gonna be hard to get there. You're gonna have to get it closer to the marsh, and what you don't want to do is get too close to the marsh and spook fish that might be coming out, feeding and ambushing as they're coming in and out, right? So this here will get you there if you want to get a little distance from the kayak. The second thing I like about this thing, which is probably the biggest selling point for some of these corks here, is this rod here, this metal shank. You can literally bend this thing and it goes back, all right? That's awesome, because when you're fishing real shallow area, you're hitting oyster, mud, sand, the roots of the grass you're throwing into, you can bend these shanks and these wires, right? These shafts, you can bend them real well. Next thing you know, the popping cork's out of commission. You're trying to bend it back with some pliers, or it may not bend back at all anymore. That might be it. It may just be done. It's always gonna have that little kink inside the wire. It's gonna cause the cork not to function up and down like it should, all right? So that's what I like about this one. It's probably why it's my number 1. It's got the weight and the wire on it together. Man, this thing's awesome. So my number 2 is going to be the paradise popper. Now, the only reason this isn't number 1 for me is because to me it's lacking in weight, all right? So those windy days where I'm fishing in the marsh and I need to get that real far distant cast, this just doesn't have the weight for me, all right? So I've talked to a lot of other fishermen about it as well, fishing in the marsh, and they have the same complaint as I do. So paradise popper, if you're listening, man, put a little bit of weight on this thing. This is going to be awesome. It's awesome as it is, right? I'm just saying, for me, I'm getting a little greedy here, is if you had more weight on this thing, this would be my number 1 without a doubt, right? So one of the things I love about this thing is that, so you can bend this thing, man. You can wreck this. I can't do that with any of these other popping corks. You can bend this thing, I mean, really torque it down, and it pops back to its original location and shape, right? So look at that. It's no problems at all. The second thing I love about this thing here is the scoop. If you look real good, if I can get that in the camera, hopefully you can see the angles. Try to get different angles. That scoop right there, when you pop that cork, this churtling sound this thing makes from the air when it scoops up the water is just unbelievable. All right, this is extremely loud. I love that about this popping cork. So the two things I love about it are the wire, the way it bends, comes back, and the scoop itself on the top. Man, I'm telling you, this thing had more weight. This is probably my number 1 popping cork, all right? Now let's go into our mid-coast popper. Mid-coast popper, this is probably going to be one that would be my number 3, because the only thing I don't like about this popping cork is the wire on it, right? This is a little bit thinner wire than I like on the popping corks. so it does tend to bend a little bit easier for me. But what I do love about the thing of the Plus is it has a 1/2 ounce weight on the bottom. So notice I said the bottom, all right? That's a big deal. So when you start to lob this thing here and you just get it going, this thing's gonna get some distance on you, right? This will get where you need it to. Problem is though, is if it's real shallow and you're hitting an oyster or something like that, it tends to bend a little bit for me. This is, once again, user preference. This is from my trial and error, all right? And I'm talking fishing the shallow marsh area. This is what I've encountered with these 3 popping corks, all right? These are my 3 popping corks. The 2 brothers were asking on them. This is what they are. Once again, man, I'm amazed that you paid that much attention to the photos and videos. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And hopefully this information helps out a little bit. Like I said, my applications, give them a shot, right? Let's be real. We're going to spend a lot of money on tackle anyway. Why not just give them a shot, all right? Try to order some of these if there's not a place locally. Give them a shot, see if you like them, right? I fish nothing but artificial, so I put either a gulp or some other type of artificial underneath this popping cork and work it. I've been phenomenal. Popping cork is in the arsenal for a reason, right? And if you look at my box, there's popping corks. These are in there, right? This isn't just a video to try to you know, blow up a product for just because. These things work. They're in my tackle box, and I've had them in there for years. And as a matter of fact, I purchased these in bulk. I have probably about 10, 15 of these. Probably have about 12 of these left, and I probably have about, I think I'm gonna have about 10 of these right now, the Paradise Poppers, and that's how I buy them, because I know hands down these are the best ones I've used for me in the marsh ever. So hopefully that helps out, Gilbert. Man, hopefully that answers your questions. I told you to check out the channel. Hopefully this gets to you. Anybody else have any questions, comments? Man, feel free to leave me something. Until then, stay safe, tight lines.